All right, hi, I'm Holloway. I'm an artist based here in Dallas, Texas, 27 years old. For me, just fascinated with the human figure. It started inside out for me. You know, learning to draw anatomy was a big thing. I was so curious with drawing anatomy in the language.
Cringe when I watch it because I'm like kind of on the edge of my seat in the video. Like, oh my God, someone's interviewing me. I just had my first kid. And so everything was just nerve-wracking. And you can kind of see it in that video. I was nervous about interviews. I was nervous about speaking. I was nervous about showing my work. I was nervous about, am I doing the right thing? You know, I was nervous about being aimless. So now where I'm at a point where there feels like more surety, where I feel more confident, I feel much more comfortable. I feel more ambitious because I know what I'm trying to do, all right? And I know what's out there to actually gain, all right? So those things. So there's less unknowns than there were then at that time.
My name's Riley Holloway, based in Plano, Texas, and I'm a figurative painter and poet as well.
We are at my house, my home studio right now, and I'm working on a piece called Transitions for a show I have coming up in Austin at the Carver Museum, titled Love, Faith, and Celebration. This piece is from a lot of the pieces, almost all of them, are from my family's photo album. And so that's what I'm working on now, and pairing it with other elements that I think make sense for the narrative. So you'll see scenes of conversation or church scenes. You'll see like party atmosphere in other pieces just like this one here. So it's really the celebration of family, right? And what that means to me and how it influences my work pretty much.
It wasn't until 2011 when I completely changed the way I studied art. They sent me to Florence for a month, and that was my first and only oil painting course I had was for that month. After I came back from that, I was like, this is what I want to do. I kind of went all out, searched for local artists and, you know, toned so many canvases, cleaned so many studios just for information.
Dallas. He lives in the Dallas area, but
Okay.
he's doing some wonderful things.
What
in
brought
art.
Dallas in?
In our local area, there was black artists here before I came. That's one of them. I'm here right now, and Riley comes along at some point during that journey, and I'm pushing Riley, and we're all in a certain line, going in a certain direction. And with the example that you see in my own mind, I can connect to a larger art history through that. He learned from John Biggers. John Biggers, his mentor was Charles White. And knowing those types of things in my own mind, I fit myself into that whole sort of stream of art history. And I follow it right to this city, right to where we are. And, you know, I take a pride in that.
How did you first meet Sedrick?
I met him at when he was showing at Valley House. Right? We were just going to exhibits, and I had kind of known about Sedrick's work because I was doing some shows in Fort Worth as well, and Sedrick's like this Fort Worth legend, this legend period to me. And one of the things that stood out was the way he prioritized what I was trying to do when it was his first day really meeting me. You know, Like, he let me get a photo of him during all the chaos of opening a show. And he really prioritized what I was trying to do. And I did this painting of him standing in front of two of his large pieces of his two children at the time. So that first visit made a big impression on me. It's like one of my favorite parts of having to open a garage is when it starts raining like that. The sound is nice. I used to have this phrase that I would write in my sketchbooks. It was like, create something beautiful, something useful. I'm always looking to tell some kind of story. And so trying to look for ways to also be useful with my artwork. Well, I had wanted to do something on American history. And I was trying to make this broader project, and I remember talking to Sedrick about it. And through our talks, I kind of figured that I can condense this down to my backyard. I was like, what's the history of South Dallas, where I'm frequenting, right? Because there's so much I didn't know about the area already. So I just started there, and through that you find out that you are discovering American history. This project I'm working on dealing with historical churches in Texas, and what I find is whenever you go do that, it always the conversation always extends to the neighborhood that the church is in, of course. One lady I interviewed who owns White Rock Chapel, which was founded in 1886, and just hearing her struggle to keep the church open, and now she's fighting to be able to congregate there again. But the neighborhood is completely gentrified, and they originally wanted to turn that property into a gated park. And it's kind of tragic sometimes when these churches fail that are that old as well, because they usually have like some sort of cemetery attached to them or off-site somewhere that relates to the church. And so does White Rock Chapel. You can end up having stories like the Freeman Cemetery in Dallas off of 75, which they dug up the bodies and expanded the freeway. And the only remembrance is sort of this smaller area with a plaque. I think telling those type of stories ends up being a very teachable moment for me, and also can be a teachable moment for other people as well. I did not see myself doing that when I first started this. I was just literally taking pictures of people and painting a portrait and moving on.
One of the things with Sedrick that helped a lot was I had a point where I was feeling a little aimless. I was just painting portraits, just to be painting portraits. And he told me, there's a statement that stuck, was to lean fully into who you are. And he gave this story about being in school and painting these sinks. He's doing paintings in different sinks, and how he combated that instructor who was questioning, why are you painting these sinks? You know? And so it kind of gave me this push and permission to explore anything that I wanted to explore. You know? And so, and in that, I found out that, okay, I'm not just a portrait painter. What I love doing is telling stories, right? I'm a storyteller, whether that's about the neighborhood or about historical Black churches, and how I can be useful in that sense. You know, so that was a huge push. And I think that I might have been still floating around here trying to figure out, feeling like the sky is falling down, if I didn't have that sort of mentorship. And I wouldn't get that type of mentorship if he didn't get that type of mentorship from Doc, you know? So I think that's a direct correlation. Yeah.